Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another Mindset Check call. We have an exciting episode. We are going to have Bridget Carlson talking about her war room and what that means for her, how she utilizes it. It's a physical place in her house, but she also has other tactics and techniques that she uses, she takes with her along for the day. The title of today is called War Room Tactics to Give You an Edge. Have you guys ever looked at a before and after photo of a president? They tend to be substantially aged, and rightfully so. I mean, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of responsibility. During the last days of World War II, a reporter asked President Harry Truman how he was doing such a good job at appearing to handle everything so well. He looked young and vibrant just as the day, I guess, he started his term. And the reporter was like, hey man, what's your secret? He talked about what he called a foxhole. And so he basically said, I have a foxhole in my mind. And whenever I need to escape to it, I just go there. It's a place where I can relax, block out the negativity, recuperate. And so he said he would periodically go to his foxhole just like a soldier would. When they're in the trenches and they need a moment to recuperate, they go to their foxhole and they're able to just kind of regain their composure to then go back out into the battlefields. Similarly, I think we all have a space in our mind where we can retreat, even if it's just for a little bit, for a moment in time, to regain our composure, to recalibrate, to rest and recuperate. And so I thought it was fitting that we talk about this foxhole or room, so to speak, in your mind, because today we have Bridget Carlson. She's going to talk about her war room and how she's using it. I think it's a great strategy dealing with outside stressors. You know, you're able to really focus in and do the tasks that need to be done. So Bridget, thank you again for being on the show. Would love for you to just dive in and talk about what this war room looks like for you. And, you know, if you have a mental war room, what that looks like for you as well.
Yeah. Hey, David. Thanks again for having me on. So I have, I still have two children at home. My husband has a business, his own business. We stay really, really busy. And I started to realize that I needed my place to go where that's all I did was real estate because I felt like I was being torn, not just by real estate customers, but then all my, everybody's life, right? We're all busy. So I call it my war room, and it's not anything big or fancy. It is literally big sheets of paper. I have an easel board in there, and I have, hey, what do I have active right now? Who are my best prospects? Who closed? How much? This is my goal. My goal is 26 million this year. Right now I'm at 15,760, so I'm getting closer faster. But this is just exactly how I'm going to track, and it just gets all of that clutter. And I'm a very visual person, so I can look at it and say, okay, I'm here. Oh yeah, don't forget about this guy, and here's this one. And I go in there every day and I update it. And when I go to bed at night, I walk in and I look at it like it's like a little refresher, not so I stay up all night thinking about it. um, but it just then sets me off, and I close the door and the dogs can't come in and the kids can't come in. And I mean, when I need my 20 minutes in there every morning to just say, okay, this is where I'm at, and this is how I got to plan out what I'm doing today, or maybe I'm doing it that evening. But it's just my little space, and it calms me down and it puts it in some organizational system of mine, so anybody could have their own, right? But and it just, this is what I've got, and this is what I'm going to do next. So it's kind of like my, I don't know, you want to call it a process or a system. And it's, again, it is nothing fancy. It's markers and paper, and they're all hung up all on all the walls.
You know, being a visual learner myself, I can't help but get excited about this war room and seeing what you have up visually. At least I'm imagining it. And it's simple, it's effective.
Yeah, these are my goals. This is how I plan to get there. Listen, I have this hole there, right? Where am I going to find these extra clients? What am I going to do?
And so this is a tactic, a strategy that you've learned and you've implemented over several years. So it's definitely effective for you.
Again, as I said, I've always been really visual, and I was in the automobile business for 30 years. There's a lot of cash flow in an auto dealership. So yes, I would put things up on the wall so I knew exactly. We tracked everything. You have to track how many clients and how many customers and that. So this is a very simplified vision because we're not dealing with, I don't have 30 customers a day and $300 billion worth of money that's moving back and forth and all of that. But yes, so it did come from that in a sense. That's kind of where that is where I got all of my training. And it just works.
You don't have excuses like the power went out or can't get your iPad to work or need to update an app. It's all there. You can go into
Mhm.
your room and get right to it. And you know exactly where you left off the day before.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I mean, literally, I just cross out where let's say, this guy just closed escrow, so we're going to cross out that address. And then when I get too many crossouts and it looks really sloppy, I just get a new piece of paper and I put it up, and the paper's huge, right? And it literally goes across all the walls.
Okay, now I'm so interested. You gotta send me a photo of your war room, please.
I will do that. I will do that.
Now, could you talk to me a little bit about the structure of your war room, structure of your day? I know that, at least for me, structure is important. It helps me stay really focused.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that I try to keep it pretty structured. And I know now from being in real estate that, you've got to leave some dead time because you're going to get called to do this, or something's going to pop up that you didn't expect, right? So I think if it's too structured, that can put you into trouble because you don't have time to handle the what arises, and things arise all day long. So there's got to be your core pieces, right, of what you've got to do today, or who you need to contact, or like the follow up. This needs to go out on this day and that. Um, and then sometimes it is also letting the other people know, clients, hey, I'm going to be unavailable for, whatever the reason is from here to here, because that is something you have to do at that time. And I just think too, with your schedule, if you can keep pretty close to what you plan to do, I think you're going to be really successful.
Totally. I mean, solid points. Could you talk to us a little bit about your transition from the automobile industry, all of the knowledge you learned and gained during that time, and how you transitioned to real estate?
In 2018, I left the automobile business and I got my license. I left in May. Um, I got my license in November, December of 2000, or sorry, yeah, 2018. And then I went was with Sotheby's, and they said, you need to go through this training, and it was the holidays, so there wasn't a lot of training offered. Anyhow, I wasn't really allowed to talk to a client until about March of 2019. And I took what I knew and what I had preached from running auto dealerships, sorry. So I had preached follow up, follow up, follow up, follow up, and follow up after the sale, and customer service was a big thing. And so I started doing that really simple thing of, when I would leave an open house, I would call a client and, hey, I just wanted to thank you for coming in, or I'd send them an email, whatever. It was more email than calls. If you have any questions, you let me know. And quite honestly, if I don't ever sell you a home, I don't care. I know so much about Coronado Island, I'm happy to share it with you. And that was kind of what I left. And I don't know, I guess it just it was genuine because that's how I felt, right? I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. And people started calling me and saying, "Okay, we'd like to see this, and we'd like to see that, and we'd like to see this." And I was like, "Okay." I mean, it and I it just took off from there.
Look, people know when you're genuine. They know when you care about them. They know when you're BSing them. It's the truth, right? And so this is something that Mike and I had talked about as well. He's going through the ninja selling course, or went through it already with a bunch of agents. And one of the big things, at least what I hear, is there's this focus on not selling, but more so providing solutions, being a resource.
Presenting solutions and being single source for all things real estate and home finance. And so we're not selling somebody to, force them to or convince them to buy a particular home. We're educating and informing and being available to them to, be that single source. So when that time is right, they're ready to move forward with that transaction, we're the only person and the first person that pops up in their head. Um, and that's what we do through, social media marketing and the outbound phone calls and personal handwritten notes, is to develop that relationship, that trust, that rapport, um, the thank you gifts, that all of those things are used to make sure and deepen that tie, that we're that single source for those types of solutions. And it's worked well.
Yeah, it's all about staying top of mind, right?
Top of mind, which is the hardest part, especially right now with how fast paced, the social media world is. I mean, we're always having to, and I can never make too much content. No person, no company could ever make too much content. And that's the challenge, to making sure that we're staying top of mind. But as working with you, David, I think the thing that has the most impact on accomplishing that is video, and in my particular case, educational video, and appealing to and creating stories that appeal to an audience. Creating, off of my successes, create a story that we can share with the public that will create a connection with somebody else.
Yeah, well said, Mike. This program is called Mindset Check, so I wanted to just have Bridget talk about her mindset. Bridget, what are you doing every day? How are you preparing yourself for the day? How are you battling and tackling the obstacles that you're facing?
One thing I try to do is I don't take things personal. This is business. Sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't. We talk to a lot of people all day, different people, and who knows what happened to them 10 minutes before you talk to them. So that's one thing. I don't take anything personal. If I work really hard and I follow a system of calling people back and touching base and being a resource for people, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. Um, and I go with those couple of things that, because I used to take things kind of personal. I'd be like, why did they say that? But so don't take it personal and follow a system, whatever works for you, but follow it. And I just feel like that's the most important. And I'm always thinking that in my head.
So the key takeaways are don't take things personally and follow a system.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Bridget, thank you so much for enriching our days and giving us all that knowledge that we can take with us into our day. We'll definitely have to have you back and talk about other strategies and systems that you have in place. Bridget, thank you so much for being on the call today.
Thanks, Bridget, for joining.
Oh, thank you guys.